right, welcome back. Listen, we what a crazy day yesterday with three of the biggest guys in the country retiring: Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick's not retiring. Let me rephrase it. And Pete Carroll's not quote unquote retiring; he's just moving upstairs. So, um,
he's just going to bank another check.
Yeah, Bill Belichick will probably show up as the Washington Commanders' next coach. But,
San Diego.
San Diego, is that what they said?
Best weather.
I heard Washington. But...
Oh, I don't know, man. Do you really want to go from I don't know. We could talk about that stuff for days. Like, I mean, listen, the Patriots already hired Mayo.
I don't, yeah, he was what was he, DC or something? Or
Sorry, Vrabel.
Was that who was hoping to get there?
Patriots. They just put him in the Ring of Honor this year.
He got fired though at Tennessee. So
yeah, it was. They said they were looking. It was too much. It would have been too much of an issue to like look for a trade or something like that. Like they didn't want to go through everything that it would have taken to like trade for a head coach or something of that nature. So they just fired him.
Got it. All right, so we got a great guest on. Probably our first athlete guest, I think. But no, that's not true. No, Liam Anderson. We had Liam Anderson on.
Yeah, but college level. So we're talking about a guy who's, kind of just went through it, just finished up his freshman year. So I think it'll be interesting to talk to him about some of those experiences and making that jump from, high school to college.
He was a star at St. John Vianney. He was on our Boardwalk Beast football club. Was a star there.
Yeah, once he torched us in 2020 when we were at RBR, once he torched us his first game of his varsity career, we said, hey, I think we should get him on our Beasts team. Oh, yeah. If you can't beat him, bring him.
I think he was playing running back or something like that.
Dude, he was everywhere. He had he scored out. He caught passes. He ran the ball. He punt returns, defense. He had in toes. Like, oh, man.
Yeah. That's not a great memory for me. All right, let's bring him on without further ado. What's going on, Kyle?
How we doing?
What's up, buddy? Appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule sitting home on winter break. Surprised you're even awake.
Appreciate you guys for having me on though.
Yeah, well,
it's been a while.
Yeah. I like your background. What do you got in the back?
I was just gonna say that looks good. I like that.
Oh, these?
Yeah, what are those?
It's my awards from my whole high school career, basically.
Very cool.
You got the what's that one? What's the bottom? It would be your what's over your left shoulder, bottom one? Is that North South Super 100?
Yeah, it's the North South one. There's a nice little plaque they gave us.
Super 100. Did they have a dinner with the Super 100?
Yeah, I got this one there. I was at the dinner.
Got a lot of that hardware, and then you got the homemade one from up top from Coach Pat.
That's my favorite. I love that one.
Yeah, Dave. Coach Pat does that on his own with his dad. Like those are real helmets. He cuts and puts them all together.
What do you get? What are they like mini helmets or something?
No, they're full size.
They're real. Because it looks hard from where I am. Okay.
He cuts them in half and does the whole. I mean, listen, and that was that's your MVP one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Well, all right. So now you're at St. Anslem, but let's take a couple steps back, right? And things have changed a lot since the year you've gone into college. It's changed a lot. But tell us a little bit about what your recruiting experience was like, some of the things that you went through. Talk a little bit about that.
First of all, the recruiting process was stressful. It was definitely. You gotta take time, talk with your parents, go on visits, hit up coaches almost like every single day. What got me to St. Anselm is I went to their showcase it was in Jersey. I forget what high school, but it was like a showcase. I didn't really know the colleges there. It was a bunch of D3s, and then it was ran by them. And what really got me the offer there was we had it was called the fastest man, and it was basically a back and forth race. You would run 20 yards and back, and I surprisingly won that. I didn't really think I was like the fastest one, but I think that's what got me on their eyes. And then after that, we had, one-on-one talks with each other. Me and one of the old coaches, he left St. Anselm now, but went on from there. They offered me the next week, and then that was my first offer. And then just kept going to camps, kept coaches, seeing what I could get. And then senior year hit.
Cool. What was the first year like experience wise for you so far? First 6 months.
A freshman.
Yeah.
It was definitely different. It was a whole new world over there, man. It's awesome now.
We tried to listen. We can only warn you and tell you kind of as much as it is until you guys actually get there and go through it, right? So,
yeah,
talk a little bit about that whole experience in terms of, hey, this was what it was like this in high school, and now all of a sudden I get here, and whoa.
I'll start when I first got there at camp. So, day one, move in. There's no one on campus. It's just me, freshman football players in our hall. Then we get there. I didn't even have enough time to get my dorm all set up. Had to go to a meeting, had to go meet the trainers, all this, all that. And then that day goes by. We had like 4 meetings. Finally got all settled in. And then camp happens the next day, nonstop, 24/7. Wake up 7 a.m., breakfast, meetings, practice, lunch, meetings, lift. And then we had a walkthrough at night, and that's for like 16-ish days, so it's nonstop.
Yeah, it feels like it's forever. And it's Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing repeat. And now you're trying to like just figure out like I don't even know where my shoes are because I haven't even got my dorm room set up.
Yeah, literally. And then so you're just nonstop to camp. You maybe have like 30 minutes to an hour to like nap if you need. Like you gotta love the sport if you want to keep going on to the next level.
There's no doubt. Now is it single practices each day?
So during camp we had one single practice around 2.5 to 3 hours, and then we had a walkthrough at night after watching our practice film
on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's put it like this: it's long days, but I can tell you this: be glad you're in this era as far as the amount of practice time.
We'll go back. We can't even go back to that. Well, like
you were probably doubles, and when I played, it was triples, Kyle, in college. Literally triples. Yep. So it was a morning, like what you had, a morning practice. You have the morning, same schedule kind of, but morning practice. But then when we come off after breakfast, and if you had any involvement at all, possibly on specials, you had a second practice, which was like, I mean, it's still 80% of the team, maybe the offensive line, you know what I mean? The 80% of the team was in it. And that was in full pass. And then you come back for the afternoon practice, which was what you guys are doing in your walkthrough. But that would be full pads. So as group, the time frame is probably, my guess is the time is still exactly the same.
They're probably still broken up.
Spending a million hours there. Yep. But at least you don't have to kill each other a million hours. That's the one good thing.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, there was many times I remember thinking, I'm like, do I love it this much? You're like,
yes. To wake up, roll over. My roommate would do the same thing. We'd sit up in bed, look at each other, and say, dude, is this really what we want to do? Like, because this is brutal. Because listen, you know how it is. Like, you're trying to grasp whatever you're trying to figure out in terms of like what defense are we running, what offense are we running. You're trying to remember plays. You're trying to just figure out how people like how does this thing even work? Like, where do I even go to get my loop? Right? Like, do I even have my practice gear? Do I have like my cleats? Like, there's just so much that you're trying to figure out in those first couple weeks of camp. And like it's not even so much on the field stuff, it's off the field stuff that you got to figure out first, then you can get to all that stuff. But meetings, trainers, treatment, right, like lifting, it's just so much to throw at you in a matter of, hey, 3 weeks. And now people start getting back on campus, and that adds in a whole nother element to it. So I mean, listen, it's we dealt with it. I mean, it used to be like that in high school, to be honest, dude. Like you had triples in high school. So then when you went to college, it was kind of like, all right, it's still kind of the same thing, but whatever. Now you guys, everything is less time. So it's a lot more meetings and whatnot than it is on the field stuff.
Well,
that was my main issue.
Yeah.
Like when I first got there, it was like you just kind of got thrown in the fire. Like you just have like, yeah, like if you didn't have a good relationship with like either like upperclassmen or like your like you were lost. Like you were so lost. Like you didn't know where to go. Like I was told like I had to go to like the trainer's office, and like I had no idea where it was. I was like, coach, you get like I don't know where this is at. And that's why I love this school, because in a matter of minutes, he gets an upperclassman, comes, picks me up, walks me straight to the trainer's office. And that was when I was like, wow, like they do care about like every single person, like everyone's equal here. Like I was walking in thinking like, oh, like a freshman's just gonna get like no attention, no nothing, all that, and then they treat everyone the same. I love it.
Well, understand, Sub, you're in a rarity, because that's not what it's like at most places. You know what I mean? It really is type of that sink or swim. I mean, I'm sure you've talked to some of your boys that are playing at other places, and that head coach might not even know who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that might be one of those things that, and I know through the entire recruiting process, we you knew exactly like kind of the type of school you wanted to go to. You kind of had a direction. You weren't just going to say, hey, I want to go to this school because they offered me, right? Like you kind of had a direction as to what it was. And then the level of play didn't really matter to you, right? Like most of these guys get so obsessed with D1 or, scholarship this, or if I'm not playing at this level, I don't want to. You kind of really like just wanted to go to a school that you were good, like you felt comfortable at. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of these guys now, bro, they really have a problem with that. Like they're just going to go try to find a school that's like, hey, they're giving me money, so I'm going to go there. And I think that's the wrong approach.
Definitely a wrong approach. Like that's why you see so many people in the transfer portal now. I feel like they just go because
you guys on your team didn't have many of them.
Yeah. And then they're in the transfer portal after the season.
Yeah, that's a big thing. What's the adjustment like as far as meetings wise? So when you're going from high school meetings, they're usually pretty brief as far as what you're going in depth about, and you're usually watching yourself on film, and that's usually easier to watch your own self on film. But I always found the hardest thing was like when you're watching the other team, you got to stay focused on watching what the other team does, or you're not in on those reps and coach is pointing out things that are going on that someone might be doing wrong on reps, and like staying alert in camp as you're tired, right? To be able to go through all that. What's the biggest difference for meeting wise from high school to college?
So meetings, we have to bring a notebook every single day. And if we don't, we get what's called like a yellow shirt. So that's like a strike. And like you get like penalties for that. That's one of the yeah, that's a pretty good difference from high school. And then also is just when so we have like a book. So when you're watching all practice and all like old films from past like years, you have to write the whole play. Like you have to write down like the signs and all that, because they don't like the way our offense is ran. Like there's no like true like playbook. It's just like certain certain route combos with like, so there's no like set playbook. So we have to do that. That was my like biggest struggle in the beginning, is just like getting the plays down, like finding like
terminology, verbiage, like what somebody called something was now something. Now let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you were based off of, listen, and you can be as open as you want, coming from high school, do you feel that you were better prepared than other freshmen because of where you played? Or do you feel like there was some guys that were kind of ahead because, oh, hey, if we had done this, or things of that nature?
I definitely feel like I'll have most. Definitely not all though. Like we have some ballers in our class. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, definitely from high school. Thank God, like one of our quarterbacks decided to like get a Zoom call going and go over plays. So
That's
that
smart.
helped me out like a lot.
So you guys used to hop. You guys would have meetings, practice. You're done for the day. Bam. Hey, we're getting on a Zoom. We're gonna go through it. Hey, boys, like that's awesome. And now it's an upperclassman.
Yeah, and that was in the summer before I even got there. So I already had like a decent idea.
Just
but,
the fact that
yeah,
that guy
like,
knew who you were.
Yeah, like everyone, like not like everyone, but most people like knew underclassmen, like they cared. They went out of their ways to figure out who's coming in and what's their names and where they're from, all that.
So terminology, like, are you guys, without giving it away, are you utilizing things like tags and adjustments with your routes and those kind of things that's different than what you did in high school?
Wait, can you say that again? You kind of went in and out a little bit.
Are you guys utilizing things like tags on your routes or adjustments, like on-site adjustments that's different than maybe what you did in high school?
I'd say it's all different, to be honest. Like you have some
use
routes
the number
where
tree.
Yeah, you have some routes where you can run either this route or another route, depending on the like pre-snap read of like the safeties and the corners, and then how they react when the ball snaps, all that. So, like when you have tags, it'll just be like in like from the signal from the coach, like it'll be like X whatever or like all that.
Nice.
And there's no huddles. It's just go.
Yeah, just go. Are you guys using boards and stuff like that?
Nope, just signals from the coach.
Signals?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. What as far as how you guys go over and like preparation in your meetings when you start to go through those things. So is that something that they go through like on the board with you? Is that something that like you're taking home a sheet and you have to go memorize on your own? How do they do that to get you to learn those things quickly?
So we'll start off as like a special. So we'll have 3 different meetings depending on the day. So the first meeting will be special teams meeting, and then the coach will go over all the film of the other team, like what we're gonna run, like a slideshow on like the big screen. We'll have to jot down notes of like what plays that like could possibly run, like depending on like if you're on the plan, all that. And then from there we'll go straight to our positional groups. And then when we get there, our position coach will give us like a packet. So like that packet will have like the team's entire record,
stats, the whole scouting report.
Yeah, the whole scouting report. And then it'll have like pictures of like the DBs and like the whole defense and like height and weight, all that.
Yeah, I'm picking on this guy.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like if I go in like I'm against this guy, like I have like an advantage, like height wise.
Yeah. That's a little different. You know what I mean? That's part of that whole preparation process.
Yeah, and then we'll go into film with our offenses or just our position group, and then on like the scouting report, we'll have like our like formation and like what they usually do on that formation, like percentage wise. And then that's the Tuesday, and then the Wednesday we'll just watch practice film and then more of their film towards the end, and then just keep retweak going over and perfecting it. And then the end of the week we'll have like a whole offensive meeting, and then we'll go over like the whole game plan we're gonna do on that, and a little more film with like blitz pickups for like the O-linemen.
Very cool. When you guys get out of camp, probably the best feeling is when you start seeing the students coming on campus. You're like, okay, school's getting ready to start. So now you get a regular schedule.
Yeah, it's like, all right, girls soccer's here. We're good. Now field hockey.
Yeah, it was like
all right, wait.
the soccer teams came next. Yeah.
Yeah,
I felt like I
that's
was in a little bubble at first, and then I started
You
seeing
don't
like
even, but
people
it
when I
doesn't.
walked outside.
You really don't even realize it, right? Because you're so tired and exhausted by the time you even get back to your dorm that
Yeah,
you don't even know what's going on, and you're just like, okay, and you wake up and it's the next thing, and then before you know it,
yeah.
now it's like, wait, there's a world out here. Like I can remember not knowing, like, I mean, I didn't know who won what game for the entire. I think my freshman year of college, the Olympics were going on, and I had no idea what was going, like, not a clue. Because it was
Yeah.
just like pandemonium.
that's really interesting. Now, did you travel this year? How much were you playing? And
So the first 2 away games, I didn't travel, and then the last 3 traveled. So
okay.
I had to like work my way up in a way.
Yeah, bro, that's what it's all about. The whole goal that
Yeah.
freshman year is you know what I mean? Like get on the bus, right? Travel. Get
That
on a
was
special
that was
team.
my main goal. I didn't care about playing or anything. I just wanted to make that bus. I just wanted to see how it was, get a little idea of going on, and then got it.
What was the feel? What was the transition like? So going from you were a star at your high school, maybe the best player in the team, one of the best players in the Shore Conference, and then you're going to college and you're like, whoa, okay, there's some grown men here, right? Because they're 20. Some of these guys are 22, 23 years old.
30.
What was that transaction like, and what was your mentality? Like, what was your mindset of how you were going to keep plugging away and move up the ladder?
So I kind of thought of it like when I was a freshman in high school. Like I wasn't fully grown. I'm still growing, I personally think, but I thought of it as like when I was a freshman in high school, like just take as much in from the older guys. You get in, take advantage of it. You just gotta just don't play scared. Like that was my
That's
big
huge.
motto. Like, don't play scared. Play like you're one of the other guys, and then you are on the team. Everyone's equal. So
And then
that
those
was my
guys start to see it too, right, man? I mean, like, and practice, right? Like, how did you handle? Talk to me about practice a little bit. Like, you were, you know what I mean? Like, you were the guy for so long in high school. And now all of a sudden, I would assume now you get to St. Anne's and you're on scout team, right? Or you're doing that type of stuff, right? Like, talk about that a little bit. What was that like?
So once camp was done, we started to split up the teams. So it would be offense and then defensive scout and then defense and then offensive scout. So coach was like, you're going to be on scout team. You're going to take advantage. Like, you're going to take advantage of this. You're going to make the defensive better. Like, they're going to get you better. And thank the Lord I was on scout. Everyone, like, when they're younger, they think scout's terrible. That got me so much better. I was going against, I personally think, the best DBs in the NE10. And then eventually we have like this thing called like BCM Team of the Week. So it's like Scout Players of the Week.
Yeah, you were
So,
on
like,
that thing a bunch.
I won that a couple times. Yeah. And then eventually, due to like some injuries and some people just like not like doing well in the games, I
Performing like they
got
should.
called up.
That's how it works, man. You just wait for your opportunity, you know? But a lot of guys, I love that you said that you embrace the scout team role because, I mean, to me, you know, that first day when they're like, you're on scout team, it's like, oh, okay. Right. And now, like, now I have a reason, right? Like, now there's a purpose. Like, I'm not going to be on here very long, but if I am, then I'm going to do whatever I can to make that guy over there that much better. And if you're, you know, when you go against the starters, right? Like, those guys go about it one of two ways. One, they're either pissed off and they're like, what are you doing, bro? Like, relax. This is practice. Like, know your role. Or they embrace it and say, get me better. Right? Like the more you get, the harder you work, the better I'm going to be. So do that for me. And then they ultimately start to respect you for that, man. Like that's a huge process, but a lot of guys don't go about it that way.
Our defense, they loved it. They loved to compete. They weren't like, yo, what are you doing? Like, they were like, let's go, keep going, like, keep making me better. And I was like, you making me better, I might as well keep going too. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's the key, man. I mean, the reps you get over there, the difference you make on there, that's going to get you on the field. That's the quickest way to
Right.
get on the field.
And like a couple
Beat
guys
the
get
starter.
hurt.
Beat the starter over and over again to beat the starting DB, and you're going to get an opportunity. That's where it's good stuff. How about school wise? So, what was the transition academically for you? Was there a big transition there?
Yeah, it was huge transition. I'm not gonna lie. It's all like you're on your own now. Like you just show up to class. You gotta take your own notes. Some teachers will give you like little templates, and the classes are just so much harder than high school.
Harder in the fact that of like the pace. What is it? Is it the pace because they move so fast, or is it just the hey, you should know this. We're going on to the next thing.
It's more like this. Yeah, you're second off in there. Like you go over whatever in class, and then the rest is homework. Like you have to learn at home. Like in class, it's just like a little template. It's like
Right.
what we're doing. Like here, do your homework, read this chapter, and then come back for next class where we'll go over that, and then all that. It's more so like on your own time. Like it's not like you can just show up in class and just that's it. Like it's all.
No, you got to do the work outside of the classroom.
Yeah. Like to be honest, like I never really studied in high school. Like I just paid attention in class, or like I didn't really need to study. Like I studied a little bit, but then I got to college and I'm like, wow, I'm studying every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big part of it.
Huge.
I know that those books they give you and the things that you got to cover. You're like, I got to read all this before the next class.
You're like, wait a minute, I got to read 100 pages by next class about microeconomics. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, macro was my struggle. I had that this semester.
I was just saying
we ended up with a B plus.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Macroeconomics, supply and demand. No doubt.
How was and that must have been a lot too, because I'm sure you took a full class load, right? 5 classes. You probably had a full load of classes, correct? Like full semester worth. Would you have like 5 classes?
I had 4 credit classes, so
okay.
Yeah, so it balances out.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. That's really, really interesting. So now what are you looking forward to? You guys have spring ball this spring coming up. Do you guys have winter workouts when you go back? Lay out what your schedule is going to be like when you go back.
So we'll get back. We'll have like around a week and a half off. And then we'll start winter workouts. We'll start AM running, cardio, and PM lift. So we'll do that for like around, I want to say like a month and a half maybe. And then we start spring ball for 16-ish days in April. Yeah.
I'd be curious to have you on after winter workouts was ensuing and how that going.
The first
that's your next fun adventure. Winter workout.
I'm telling you, man, that first 5 a.m. when you come back from winter break and guys have done nothing all of break, dude. Like you see guys that have put on like 20 pounds. You see guys that have literally done absolutely nothing other than sit around, eat, and just partied. And they come back in that first one, coaches are like, let's go. Dude, it's going to be eye-opening.
I'm excited.
Did you guys have any coaching changes?
Wait, can you say and you went
I said, did you have any coaching changes?
This year?
Like from the end of the season until when you go back?
Nope, no coach changes.
That's good.
That's big, man. That's really big.
No underclassmen, transportal, like anything. Everyone's staying.
Wow. So you're bringing back, and you guys were relatively young, right?
Yeah. We had a junior quarterback and a freshman quarterback too. A freshman quarterback got hurt. He started for a bit, and then a bunch of sophomore and juniors playing. Yeah. And we have some fifth years coming back too.
So are you penciled in as like the number 2 guy right now, or where do you stand on the depth going into next year?
To be honest, I have no idea. Like the coach doesn't really say like you're second string. But I would go in the third string, yeah. but everyone's saying spring ball, it's a whole new start. Like you gotta take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's
do that.
the opportunity to move up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spring ball really is because you
That's
just
where
ball,
people,
bro.
yeah.
You know, like, hey, who's really put in the time in the off season? Who's taken what we've taught them, and now you have a year under your belt? Like, all that stuff that's still on your mind in terms of like, how do I do it? Whatever kind of goes out the window, and now you can just get to football. You can just compete.
Yeah.
Spring ball is, I mean, I used to love it. It's such a different feeling than with a regular season. You're not preparing for anything. You're just literally getting better, and you literally just get to go and beat your opposition. You know what I'm saying? Like your teammates every day in practice. Like that's who you're competing against. You're not worried about another team or any of that stuff. It's just like, I'm going to get better and I'm going to move up and put myself in a position so that when summer comes and summer camp is here, I'm the guy.
That's how I know that you're a DB and Kyle's a wide receiver, because we had inside drill and you don't have to do inside drill.
I had to do inside as a safety.
Oh, come on. Inside drill. Oh my God. Every day, 5 minutes of inside, 5 to 10 minutes of inside drill. But you walk out of there, you're like, is my neck still attached? Yeah, it is. Okay, great. It's still there. My shoulder's still attached. My neck's still attached. Woo!
Yeah, because then you listen, because you could bang, like you can just go.
That's all in spring ball, yeah. Because in season, even inside drill in season, once you
it's still different, and plus
they
all those guys
down.
are trying to make a name for themselves, right? So
But
like,
spring
oh, dude,
ball,
I'm just going right at what, like, all right, buddy, like, settle down, dude. You're not even gonna be here. Like,
I remember the first time I got the ball in spring ball, not in camp, like my redshirt freshman year, and they ran a trap play, and I just thought to myself, just hit the hole as fast as you can, and whatever happens, happens. I just expected to get clobbered. I kept running, and I looked up, and there was no one there. I was like, "Oh man, I don't know what I did, but I got to the end of and I was like, as many times as I can do that, I'm going to try to do that." And then when you have to go and block, forget it. You're digging out defensive ends. But no, it's really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Make sure that those grades keep going the way that you're going, and keep attacking. Honestly, I think that take no prisoners attitude when you go on the field like that will continue to translate, because you're always, listen, everyone makes mistakes, but if you're going 100 miles an hour, dude, like, coaches take notice. They take notice of what you're doing, and they take notice of when you make plays. And I always notice that, like, when you start to make plays, like, even if you make mistakes, they care less about the mistakes, and they're like, okay, this guy can make a play.
Right.
Like, and once we clean this stuff up, then he's really going to be a baller. So, keep doing that stuff. Coach, any last questions?
No, I mean, like I said, dude, like, it's pretty much, it is what it is. It's verbatim. You know exactly what you need to do to get where you want. You've done everything up until this point. You know what I'm saying? It was, year one, I'm going to get here and I'm going to get on the bus. Now you're on the bus. And now it's just kind of, polish it up and continue to move. The fact that all your coaches are back is huge, right? And you're coming off a really good year, the best year St. Anne's has probably ever had. Your head coach wins, conference, or conference coach of the year and all this stuff. And I'm sure there's another good recruiting class coming in. And I just think that the program is on the rise, dude. And I think you've really hit it at the right point. So just, continue to kind of, work your tail off. Like Coach said, hard work will beat everything every day. And, making plays is just kind of what you've done ever. You know what I mean? Like, there's never a time where you haven't just been that playmaking guy. So just continue to do what you do,
Well, it's great seeing you, man. Hopefully we'll see you around the house. What do you got? Is that the American flag right there over your right shoulder?
Panthers Nation, baby. Keep pounding. Let's go.
Okay.
Hey, number one pick. Why not, buddy? Number one pick. Why not?
Yeah, I'm put it away already.
Come on, who do you want to be? Who you hoping to be the head coach? Who do you want?
Gosh, I have no idea. That'd be sick to get Belichick, but or anyone, honestly, literally anyone.
He says anyone.
Anyone better. Anyone better. All right, Kyle, it's great having you on. We'll see you soon, man. Make sure you stay in touch.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Appreciate you, kid. I'll talk to you later.
That was great. That was great. It's great to see hear the experiences of what people are going through. Every place is slightly different, but there's some fundamental themes that are almost exactly the same. Like,
verbatim, right? Like you can literally see like you can see him like coming back to his room after that first day and going, dude, my door, like there's shit in boxes. I don't have, like, what am I supposed to? And then it's like, dude, we got to get up in like a couple hours to go to practice, right? And then those couple days of camp where you're just like, you literally just like, you're trying to adjust from like, you're not living home anymore. And now it's like, what's going on? I'm trying to do this. I'm getting physically beat up and down. Like I used to be the star and now I'm just another guy. Like, like
I can't wait to hear after winter workouts
first day, man.
Because your body's not like, it takes you a whole week,
Easy.
your back and your all that stuff is not used to all, like, I'm sure they do it the same way.
Plus, I mean,
Matt roll.
This is St. Anne's too, bro. You know that morning is going to be freezing. It's going to be snow on the ground. Now, I'm sure they'll be inside, but like, you still got to get to the facility.
Yeah, that was what I remembered as being the worst part. Actually, everybody would have their hoodies up, walking.
Guys, guys were miserable, right? Like, and then the only guys that weren't miserable were your mid-season guys that came in, like your new guys that were like, and it's like, bro, like, relax, right?
Well, when you get to be a junior or senior, you kind of understand more how the winter workouts work.
Yep.
So I'm not going to use the word pace yourself, but I'm going to use the word like, who's drill. Like,
you know what coach is looking for what certain, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm that first. Oh my God.
I used to drive me nuts on match drills. Coach Hargraves, who at first I was obviously a running back, but when I moved over the line, he would say to you when you would come to the match drills, go as hard as you can each one, and you won't do as many. He would say it, and dudes it would piss me off. I'd be like, "What are you doing, dude? He told you what to do. Go as hard as you can."
And they wouldn't.
And you end up going like 9,000 times in a row. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because one guy is so lazy. It's not that they're pacing themselves, right? And he's telling you, don't pace yourself. Go as hard as you can. You won't have to do as many reps. Like, you used to love the coaches that, like, remember they would be like, I don't remember, it was 5 minutes or 6, whatever it was, stations, 6, 7 minutes. I always loved the coaches that were like that, because then you know that, like, you would go 5 minutes hard. And if it was 6 minutes, you'd have like the last 30 seconds as your like breather. And he'd give you that breather and be like, dude, I'm like, just go hard.
Right. It's also a way to, like, now I get to see, does this guy follow directions, right? Or like, is he willing to push through a little bit of a wall to understand the bigger scheme? Like, that's a way for you guys. That's like, that's how you're testing your guys, back and forth, right? I remember, like, we used to go back the day before winter workouts would start. We would try and get on campus, and at some point we try to get into the facility and see the coaches, right? Like, we wanted to see the coaches so that they knew, like, oh, look, these guys are back on campus already, right? Like, just to show face so that next morning, like, or you get there and make sure, like, all right, hey, I got my loop here. So you're not going in there like, oh, scrambling at, 5:30 in the morning. And, coaches used to love that. Then they'd see you the next morning and be like, it wasn't that whole, like they were focused on the other dudes rather than they're like, oh, those guys were here already, right? Like, so we did it so they like, dude, just worry about those guys. We're good, coach. Like, we try and just get face, man. But it didn't matter, dude. They were brutal. And then it's like, now I got to go to class. Oh, man.
Did you ever have to do, the first coach we had didn't do this, but Holtz did this. These like, I don't know what you would call them, but basically you have to do these movements, and it had to be precise. Each movement, like, let's say, for example, like push-up position, knees to chest, roll to your right, roll to your left.
It was like Simon Says.
Yeah, and you had to do all of it exactly right. And
perfect.
And if it wasn't perfect on cue, like if you were slow to do it, you would start from the top. We would do that at the end of the winter workouts.
Ooh.
And I'm telling you, Holtz, it was that's what it was, like a discipline thing. And Holtz introduced it, dude. When he did it, I'm telling you, oh my God. In the beginning, and I still remember the guys that would screw it up. And I would be like,
every time.
Why can't you remember these simple commands? I mean, every once in a while, if coach was going to go after you, like, even if
you were done.
even if you did things right all the time,
Right.
like, you know what? If I go after him and he's Mr. Goody Goody,
Right. That's
then
what, I always love the coaches that did that, right? They're like, all right, that's the best player. I'm going to rock his world, right? Like, I don't know, like, yeah, all right, Mr. NEC Offensive Player of the Year. You think you can just do whatever in this fucking team? I'm like, bro, this dude just rushed for like 1,200 yards, had like 20-something touchdowns, and you're going to bust his balls. I said he also could literally beat the piss out of you, coach, if he wanted to. Like he literally could just kill you. But and you're going to pick on him? And that dude was just like, all right.
I wonder if you could pick on guys like that anymore.
I don't know, man.
That's a good question.
I bet you some guys can. I bet you it all depends on like who it is.
Who it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think.
No. I was just curious because of today's thing where you could transfer.
100%. Like, I mean, I could imagine guys literally being like, "You, coach," walking out.
Yeah.
I could see that, right? Like, I think you see Lane Kiffin get into it a little bit and kind of do it. But I mean, like, look, I don't think what's his name at USC is ripping Caleb Williams like that.
With his nail polish? No, I don't think so.
I think there's certain, like, I bet you Brian Kelly at LSU rips dudes.
Yeah, I'm curious. I am curious because I wonder if
right, like if the temperament has changed.
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to know.
That's I used to love that. Like,
I know it didn't bother me. I was just hoping they were going to go after me that day. I was like, oh God, please.
Listen, there used to be those days where you did nothing right? Like you felt like I felt like I couldn't even backpedal right? Like, and it's like that guy just used to be whatever, all over me until like Kyle said, an upperclassman comes over and like, look, like if he's doing that, that's a good sign, dude. Like, just suck it up, take it. Do whatever they say and just kind of go. You know what I mean? And it was like, all right, this is a rite of passage, right? Like, he's riding me, which is probably a lot why I coach the way I do, right? Like, like you put like a lot of time into certain guys, and because you see what could come of it, And I remember what I remember the most about spring ball was just, dude, like, it was like, when you came in that first camp, it was like, look, you're not expected to do anything other than just be a scout team guy in a body. Right. But now I felt like that first spring I had, when I was at Sacred Heart going into my sophomore year, it was like, look, we're going to push you even harder because like you could do something for us. Like, I can remember I was the starting strong safety in our first spring scrimmage because everybody else in front of me was hurt. And I remember getting torched up all over the place. But at least I was on the field. I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, but if I'm going to have to play at this level, like I am not ready, right? Like, I am not ready. So it was humbling for me, but also tough as hell because you're still battling every single day. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, to just fight and earn that position. And spring is different, like you said, because you're not preparing for an opponent, right? Like, you're just trying to beat that guy in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can remember on the depth, guys used to be salty as, like, why are you playing? I'm like, because I'm better than you, dude. Like,
yeah, right.
You're going to be a senior and you're the
everybody's
you're
behind me,
right? Like, you're behind me, and like you've been here for 3 seasons, dude, and you're terrible. Like, and those guys didn't like that shit, man. Like, that's what was different. Like, Kyle, I feel like, is at a very good place where the whole team collectively just wants to get better, and they all have the same. You know what I mean? When I was at Sacred Heart, it wasn't like that. There were dudes that just like.
Yeah,
they just didn't get it, and they didn't even care.
I remember that too.
Right, and it was kind of like, and that was hard too.
They used to bother me, those guys,
dude.
They were
a
cool.
hard
A lot of them were
transition
cool.
from high school.
A lot of them were cool, like outside of football, but
right, but football was different.
Like, dude, come on, like.
I'm like, bro, you don't even care. Like, I'm like, you
don't
care.
There were guys that didn't care. I remember that.
Dave, the biggest.
Now they probably would run them off the team, I guess.
Correct. Right. But like, I'll tell you what, that was one of the biggest differences from high school to college. Now my middle linebacker in high school, we both went to Sacred Heart, right? So we both went there, same stuff, go in. And I can remember we both made the bus first game, travel. We go to Central Connecticut. We get smoked like 36-14 or something. We get smoked. He doesn't play, but I'm on kick return, whatever. So we're on the bus back. And there are dudes like laughing and smiling like on the bus. And we look at each other and we're like, what the, like, dude, we just got smoked, right? Like, and I played maybe whatever, however, I mean, obviously more than I should have because we got our ass kicked. So I was on kick return, like, okay, right? But I got maybe 5 reps, he got none. And we were so pissed that we lost. And these guys are like laughing, giggling, like, hey, man, make sure, hey, calling guys, like, hey, make sure you get to the Packy store so that we can have a keg because, liquor stores are closed in Connecticut on Sunday. So, we got to make sure. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I remember that's how it was. Well, Holtz changed that. Like the guy who recruited me, we had a lot of great players, but like we had a lot of guys that like did not the guys who were in the backup role, not backups. They were like what, third and fourth stringers,
role guys or whatever.
I don't even think they played. I mean, they never got a field.
Dude, there were some guys that never were even
close.
Hook. Like not even close.
I remember when they would go in on scout team.
Oh,
not scout team. Like when they would have like the threes go in, and they go in and you'd be like, "Oh, this guy's about to get fucked up."
Yeah. Like this is gonna be bad. And then like you knew it with the guy.
I felt bad with the lineman too.
You knew the guy was nothing when like you were watching practice film with your coaches and they just skipped over their plays. Like you didn't even get to watch them. They just like, all right, we're gonna go to the other team now, and like missed all their reps. Like
they're already like this. They go, John Smith. Forget it.
Yeah, they're like, dude, I don't just next.
Why am I wasting I'm not wasting my time with him. He's never gonna play.
Oh, dude, it was like you just like, all right, dude, how many years do you have?
Not he's never gonna play, but he doesn't even care if he doesn't play.
Correct. Like, and those guys, and that's what was crazy to me was like these guys were okay just being nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, no, man, like, what do you like? Here's the process. Like, make the bus, starter, blah, blah, blah. Go from there, win games. Like, how do you not want to win games? But it was like, dude, I'm not playing. Like, I don't care, right? Like, what? It was crazy.
That is crazy. That was eye opener with college and
some of those guys that were just like, hey, man, I'm all like, or like then you would see guys that were like we had a stud receiver, dude, and this kid my man never wanted to go to class, bro. Like, never wanted to go to class. Like, and it was like, and every day it would be like, dude, why didn't you go to class? Or what are you doing? Or this or that, or back and forth. And I'm like, dude, you just ripped off like whatever 3 touchdowns last game. And now you're not going to go to class? Like, what is wrong with you, bro?
And how about the guys who like came in too heavy and stuff like that?
Oh,
and they would tell them not to come in at this weight. And they would
come in like
they do nothing.
It wasn't like 2 or 3 pounds. It was like 10, 12, 20, 15 30 pounds, 20 pounds overweight. I remember.
Oh,
so
they would be
Sacred Heart was different because we had, conditioning tests, right? So we had to do, we had to do 16 110s. Dave, there were guys that literally just like walked right off the field, like gone. Like middle of 110s, like lineman, you're up. And there would be a dude just boom at the 50, and walk right off. And you'd never see him again. Like, all right, dude. Like,
screw this.
But that's why I asked him the question too of like the transition from high school. Like, how did you feel like high school wise? Did it like, were you prepared for playing in college? Because I'm telling you, like, and we talk about it all the time. Like, I was coached by high-level coaches in high school and at the lower levels, which was such a benefit because we would go into these meetings or just talking football in general, and these guys would have no idea about, like, anything, right? Like, this is a 1-tech or this is a 2-tech or this is cover 2 or cover 4 or we're doing this or like these guys would be like, they'd have no clue. And I'm like, didn't you guys play high school football? And they're like, yeah, but we didn't do any of that stuff. Like, they didn't even know what like a 4-3 defense was. It was wild.
Yeah. I could tell you that I couldn't tell you what we did in high school.
It's crazy.
An offense, forget it. It was
get the ball and go.
Yeah. I mean, I think I blocked like 2 times in the whole year. Other than pass pro, but like I mean, as far as like lead blocking for somebody,
yeah,
I remember I lead blocked one time in high school, and the kid walked in the end zone behind me, and the coach was like, "Oh, maybe we should have had you lead block them." He's like,
"You're like, nope,
no." I'm like, you know what? If you had me lead blocking for me, we would have won 8 games. But my lead blocker, who was a great guy, but he weighed. You'd laugh at this. It's Group 1. My lead blocker wrestled at 135, so or one, maybe it was 145. It was like really really light. He probably weighed like 145, 150 in high school. And that was my fullback. I was a 220-pound tailback.
Yeah, that's why you would have been perfect in the run and shoot as a super back.
Oh, I would have been quarterback in the run and shoot, the modern run and shoot. Because I had a cannon. You know how we used to throw long passes? You ready for this? This is a make you laugh.
Toss.
We did a pitch pass. Yeah. All right, we got to go verticals. Pitch pass. They pitch pass to me, and they have one guy cross, and everybody else go vertical. And if one of the guys vertical is open, I'd chuck it, and if not, I just throw the cross guy.
and if not, I'm running.
Yeah, that happens sometimes too. But it wasn't well blocked, so you weren't gaining all yards. But it was like,
yeah, not when you have like, you know what I mean? Not when you had like 165-pound linemen.
And I remember if I didn't throw like a good pass, they'd be like, "Oh, that wasn't a good pass." I'm like, I got gloves on.
You're like, dude, it hit you right here.
But I'm saying I have you wore I used to wear the Newmans.
Newmans, brother.
I had the Newmans gloves. I had to throw my Newmans. But
there weren't isotoners.
They were close to isotoners compared to now.
These things are ridiculous now, though, dude. Like we talk about a lot of it, and I always did it. Like I used to say, like, and I never practiced with my gloves on. You know what I'm saying? I only wore for like
super sticky ones, or no?
They were like right as I finished up college is where it started to like really be like a whoa, right? But like I can remember like I can count in high school, right? Like I can say things like there were catches I made because I wore gloves. Like any one-handed catch I ever made was because I had gloves on. Like my hands are too tiny to grab, like, you know what I'm saying? Or like the Odell type of thing. Like, but any of those like where I had to like go or whatever, just made like an athletic play, I would 100%. Most of it was because I had gloves on.
See the gloves when.
Yeah, they weren't sticky like they are now, dude. It was more like winter.
You had to wash them every week in I can't remember exactly how to do it, but you had as soon as you got done with the game, you had to take them. They lose their stickiness, so you'd have to put them, wash them, and then dry them out, and then they'd have their stickiness. Because
these guys change like gloves like every quarter.
I couldn't. Yeah, you know what? Because I didn't really. I tried to wear. I couldn't wear in practice because they wouldn't be sticky enough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I used to have game day gloves. I used to have practice gloves, game day gloves, right? To just kind of keep it. When I would wash them, I'd wash them inside out, like, and then I wouldn't put them in the dryer. Like, you just kind of like, I had a whole thing to it. I also remember my sophomore year, my first practice, I walked out there with gloves and got ripped by my high school head coach. He's like, look, dude, we don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to do it, you wear them every single day. They're not for a look. They're that. I'm like, all right, cool. I wear them every day. Like, and then it was all right. Everybody's had them. I'm like, you're welcome.
I couldn't afford to wear them every day because I only was able to get one
dude.
Pair. So
D3
I had to make them work. I think they got me a second pair as the end of the year.
The only reason in college that I got more gloves than everybody else was because I always wanted small gloves because I wanted them so tight to my hands that I wouldn't whatever, and nobody needed size small gloves. So those were just the extra pair. So my equipment guy was like, here you go. Like he gave him, I got, when everybody else got like 1-2 pair, and it's a season. A season. You know, like.
You know what else was, I don't know, this didn't happen to me at fullback, but at linebacker, this happened every single camp. And at the end, some point at the end of camp, and it used to piss me off because it'd be with you the rest of the year. I don't know if this ever happened to you as a DB, so I'm not sure if you maybe had to take on enough blockers that would happen. But you know when you have to shed, my thumbs
every time, dude.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, they were brutal.
Would get wrecked.
Yeah, because I would be having to tackle a fullback or jam a tight end or just making tackles in general against running backs. Like my thumbs every year was like, dude, I think I broke my thumb. I would like, or I'd go to make a tackle and you get one of those.
Yes.
Or something like, dude, it sucked. I remember I actually.
You should drive me nuts, the thumbs.
My spring ball ad, Sacred Heart, I can remember I was like the most hurt I've ever been because I'm like, here I am trying to bang against all the big dogs. Dude, I remember they actually braced my thumb. I had it wrapped. I had a freaking like a knee issue. I had so much stuff going on, but I remember my thumb was like, now I'm like, damn, bro, like, and now I'm making catches. I'm like, trying to make picks, like doing different stuff because I couldn't use my thumb. It was hard to grab guys and pull. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit was brutal because I couldn't grab and get rid of. You know? So like, especially like so when you would have to take on that guy, right, as the outside linebacker, just think about me right behind you coming down outside of you, doing the exact same thing, trying to force it to you, right? So like that's what it used to be, the same shit, dude.
The first day it would happen to me, like I would try to go as long as I could.
And then you're like,
I'm like, fuck, now I'm fucked for the rest of the season. Now I gotta tape it. Now I got to do all this thing. Like you hope that like somehow you can get through with that, but never.
I used to. My trainer used to make me sit there with my hand in an ice bucket, and the stem would be going through the ice bucket.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, we did everything under the sun. I mean, I lived in the training room, dude. Lived in it. Wasn't hurt, but just way ahead of like what they do now.
They used to make you feel bad. Did they used to make you feel bad back then? Like if you were in a training room.
They do. They're like,
oh, you're in like, again.
I always got it. I always like got a little bit of benefit of the doubt because I was always the smallest dude. Like, so they're like, all right, dude, like we understand, like whatever, but like you can't be coming in here for everything. I'm like, I'm not, bro. Like I need help, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know, not to mention it was always a nice little nap time.
Oh yeah, like, great nap. Oh, you needed those 10-minuters. You needed
throw that stim on, dude, and like let me just do one of these, dude, and
10 minutes, and then you're good.
You're perfect. And you're like, then you pop up out of the thing. You're like, all right, let's go, right? Like, damn, like
they'll tap you. They're like, oh, you're all done. I'm like,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Danielle would come over and be like, yo, D, you're good. She's now the trainer at Hackensack High School. So. They're everywhere.
Nice little drool on their pillows.
She'd be like, I won't tell anybody you were snoring, but you're good.
Oh, always snoring. Of course.
I can't even imagine now. These guys have their phones. They're in there probably way longer than they should be because guys were always like, let's go. I want to go. I got to go. Or my ride's waiting for me, right? Like somebody's bringing me back to the apartment. Like, let's go, bro. I'm not waiting for you to get your ice bag. Like, bro, leave me.
Yeah.
I'm like, just go, dude. Plus, I'm like, half you dudes didn't even shower, so you're all nasty as hell. I'm not sitting in the car with you.
I don't know how you shower either. How do you not shower?
Dude, I don't know if it was because, like, when I was at Montclair State, like, I commuted, right? So I had to go back and forth.
Commuted, they did.
But I mean, like,
everybody showered at UConn.
Dude, everybody showered.
Maybe there was someone. Maybe there was a couple. I don't know.
No, I was like right where that era of like it changed, where guys were like, "That's weird, bro." I'm like, dude, I'm not riding home in a dirty ass girdle that I just like 110 degrees on the turf. I'm gonna now go sit and drive 30 minutes home to Butler. Like, dude, what are we talking about? Get in a shower.
Yeah. And you guys probably had ice baths too, probably, right? So I loved the ice bath.
Loved it. Guys would be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "Trying to run faster than you tomorrow."
Yeah, I want to feel.
I
tomorrow.
Think
I don't know how guys do it. I didn't know. Some guys must just be genetic freaks. I don't know.
Definitely. Like those guys that would go in and they'd be like, "Yo, you got 4% body fat," and I'm like, "What?" Like I worked my ass off and I'm still only at fucking 12. What are we talking about?
I got the 9.9 my senior year. That was my best. 9.9.
Lowest I've ever was 12.2.
That for DB, yeah, you're right.
Dude, I was the biggest. I was short and thick.
You, and it'd be like
crushing me.
When I got the 9.9, when I got the 9.9, I was like, "This, I will never, ever come back to this level ever again." So let me enjoy this for the week that I have it.
They would rip me apart. There
were some dudes that were like 2%, 3%.
Dudes be like 2.4, 3.7. Even like the dude that I was like supposed to be like, this is who you're gonna be. He was even like 9 something, right? And I'm like, dude, I can't get below 10. I'm not even close.
I'll say this: I learned that means nothing.
Eating broccoli and chicken for the last 8 months, dude, and I can't get shit.
I learned that that means nothing unless you're obese. If you're obese,
Correct. Right.
If you were within a range, like even if you're a little chubbier, it didn't make
Yep.
But like if you were one of those 30% guys, obviously that was bad. But
correct. Like, but listen, it was like, and like you said, I was like they used to like, oh, whatever. And I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure like I've played, you haven't.
Yeah,
like
nothing.
I said,
if you were fat, it meant something. If you were like,
I was like, bro, you can't even remember who the fuck to block on kick return, dude. Let alone like, I said, you can't even count 3, 2, 1 and get your guy. I said, and you're gonna bust my balls about being whatever body percent. Like, relax, dude. Like, oh, you're slow as shit. I'm like, yeah, but I had 2 interceptions in practice and you didn't even get on the field. So what are we talking about? Like, you're slow. Yeah. Well, I just came out of this game. I had 2 tackles on kickoff and another one on punt. Like, what are we doing? Like,
that's funny.
That used to be funny, right? Because then the coaches would like, like Coach Joffrey was a great one for that, because he'd be like, "You got DePascal's slow ass, and he's flying by you on kickoff, making plays, and you're over here wondering if the trainer's gonna come and help you." Like, I'm like,
the Pascal's run to 5-0. You just ran right by you.
How'd you do it? Listen, Neil Brown from West Virginia, dude. DePascal, I don't know how the hell you do it, but you just always seem to be somewhere around this goddamn ball, and I love it, kid. Keep doing what you're doing. Meanwhile, I got this guy over here who runs a 4.2, and he can't even know what's going on.
It's true.
Thanks, Coach. I'll take it as a compliment, I think, but like, okay.
It's like, thank you for the backhanded compliment. So you're saying,
I'm like, Coach, I don't really care, dude.
I'm
like,
tough, but I'm incredibly slow, is what you're?
Yes, I said. So you're telling me that, like, I don't know. Okay, I'll take it. Cool, Coach. I don't care as long as you put me in. We're good.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's so interesting how they like they come to like, I don't know, the conclusion on certain guys, and how like
it's just, I think it's hilarious too. But like, like I used to annoy the piss out of them, like in terms of like, hey, I'm only on kick return, but Coach, do you have any cut-ups of their kickoff so I can watch my guy and see whoever? And they'd be like, fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, and it was like, all right, well, this is kind of what we want, right? Like, and I wasn't doing it to be like a kiss ass, or, you know what I mean? I was doing it because like I genuinely wanted to like, hey man, I got to get better. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it the best I can. And I think guys don't even embrace it. They just assume like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be, or this or that. No, man, like go after it. Like make that coach see like, damn, you know what I mean? Like I can remember Coach Joffrey telling me like, hey dude, like this is a Friday walkthrough. Like you can't be picking off passes and shit, like from the starting offense. Like, right. Like we're trying to gain confidence for tomorrow. And that's where I learned how to like, you know what I mean? Like when to taper it and when to figure it out, was because that guy was like, hey, I love what you do, but the offense wins on Friday, buddy. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, we're good. Like, it's just, you learn how to do that stuff. It's different, but I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm sure, like you said, you have to be very temperamental now, I bet, with guys. Cause like all it's going to take is that one time where guys like, later.
Well, you go to transfer portal or like, I could tell you this, like you want to tell, I think kids are more like back then. We kind of like what the coaches told us when to get in and stuff.
You didn't question
now
shit.
I can see them like, hey man, put me in. Like you can put me in. Like, but that part might be good. Like I wish, even though
but then it's also this part,
played
right?
a lot, hey, but you got to be
I'm gonna put you in. Here's your opportunity.
Yeah.
And then if you do good, all right, cool.
It wasn't until I got assertive.
If you go the other way, it's like, I fucking told you.
It wasn't until I got like when Holtz came in, didn't really like me as a fullback, and then I was I went to him. I was like, you know what, screw this. Like I'm like I'm not gonna be like get put to the side like this. I'm like, dude, I went over him. I was like, just put me on defense, dude. Like right. I don't care where
I can help other places, Coach.
I was like, just all I ask is that let me get some reps, dude.
Yeah, let me get a chance.
I'm like, I was a starting fullback last year, and you're gonna now like try to push me out. And I was like, okay, but
yeah, you're like, no, I'll make a position change.
Bring back the eye. That's what I kept thinking. Please bring back the eye. But it's funny.
And I was like, I'm so happy to play defense. I don't have to go across the middle anymore. This is great.
It's so funny because I don't think I've run like a true eye as like a coach, and like probably Pal Park, I think we used to do it sometimes like a power eye. But like, I mean, a long time, because you could do it a lot of different ways now.
Right.
But because of offsetting guys and stuff. especially with a gun. But it's funny how the eye, like I mean, I listen. I used to say in high school, I'm the dot of that eye, man. I'm the dot. Put me back there. I'm the dot of that damn eye. So it's funny how the world changes because the eye is like when I see a team line up in the eye, like I think Michigan did a little bit. When I see them line up in the eye,
Just using a fullback.
you know that they think they're better. Flat out. If someone ever goes in the eye, under
they
center,
think they're just physically.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm like a lot, Big Ten stuff, right? Like I always
no one goes in the eye. Yeah.
Here we come. I'm coming right at you.
I think your team stinks.
You know exactly what we're doing, and we're just better, and we're about to beat you.
We're just going to kill you because we're just going to run old school eye right at you.
Right at your face, dude.
Right at your face. And you're not
and I'll literally tell you, like, it's going there.
Yeah. What do you have in the eye? You have blast, you have counter, you have power. I mean, that's about it. Play action.
Maybe.
No, a pitch, toss, sweep.
Toss. I mean, maybe you have like a power pass to the fullback in the flat.
Yep.
That's about it, though.
Yeah. That was my play when I was at fullback. I loved the toss sweep in high school. When he's like, all right, toss sweep. I'm like,
do they call it toss? I used to love when DePaul, right? When I used to play DePaul, they would run that toss, but they would run it inside the tight end or off the tackle.
Like
it was like tight.
Oh, you mean like LSU's toss? Like
like downhill.
The old
like you're not looking to get outside. You're looking to get more.
Yeah.
I'm like,
run that.
I used to just like. I'm like, oh shit, dude.
That's
like
a tough play. It's an eye. It's a blast.
Because as a safety, right? Like as a safety, I see toss motion. I right away aim for the alley, and now all of a sudden, he comes inside. Right now, I got to adjust to slow play it more to still work inside out, right? And I knew like they would have now it would be like, all right, the D tackle's getting smoked, right? The outside backer or the middle backer, they're gonna get smoked, and now I'm going down. Now I'm going one-on-one as he's coming downhill now, So I always thought that play was tough to stop.
St. Mary's, you might remember. I don't know if you ever played them when you were in high school.
No, never.
They used to run the Gale sweep. You know what that was? So it was the same play, but they tossed it. The quarterback, after he tossed it, led block.
We used to do that in like middle school.
Yes. So they would toss it, and they would do.
And when I played quarterback, I'm like, yes, I get to toss and go drill somebody.
Yes, that's what would happen. That's what they did. It was a good play. That was like their signature play. What was their coach? He had a legendary coach there. I can't remember his name, but
yeah, I never played them.
No, they were probably still good back when you were in high school.
Rutherford was excellent when I was in high school.
Rutherford was?
Yeah, they had De Palma as the head coach. Whatever his last name is, Sean Ryan was the quarterback. He's coaching now. He coaches I believe he coaches at Rutherford. I think he's the OC. But yeah, they were good. And they actually.
Then De Palma went to.
Yeah, then that was before he went to become an administrator,
right?
And then he was at PCT for a while, then DePaul.
Oh, was he at Elmwood Park before he was
maybe
before he was at Rutherford?
Maybe. I mean, they were good, dude. They won a state title. You know what I mean? Like that year. And then Sean Ryan actually was the quarterback in my North-South game, and he was a dog, dude.
Rutherford has had some good teams over the years.
And like I said, Saddlebrook was the #1 seed when my senior year. Glen Rock was the 4, and that was their first quote-unquote down year in a long time.
That was Robbie Grammer.
Cresskill was, I played all Bergen County teams in my playoffs my senior year, except when we got to the finals. It was the first year they kind of made a switch in terms of the section, and it was no longer I wasn't playing in Cedar Grove.
Is that when we lost when Robbie Graham? Were you seeing when Robbie Grammer was the
Grammer had broke his leg?
Yes, that's right. So they. Oh my God, that was the game because Pomo had played with a broken hand. We lost.
That's why you lost. But I can remember Grammer, he dressed for our playoff game and he came out in a boot, and it was am I supposed to feel bad because you're supposed to be the best player and whatever, dude? I'm you're lucky I don't tackle you right here on the fucking coin toss, just to prove a point, dude.
Oh, that game.
I remember Grant Adams' younger brother was a freshman, and he got in the game. And it might have been the hardest hit I ever put on somebody in my career.
He was little, right?
Dude, really Dave, I killed him. They ran a wheel route with him, and he went up the sideline. And I literally, it was like the play for the Gators when he ran major right, ran right through him, like didn't stop. Dude, I timed it perfect. He caught it, and I went through him.
That was the end of Adams. The
I
other
thought he was dead. I literally thought he was dead. There's a picture where I'm like in the air after I hit him, and he's like upside down. His head's like, and there's a lady in the background like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the best part. And I literally remember when I ran through him and hit him, I said to myself, I said, like I was on their, it happened on their sideline too. And I remember I ran by a coach going back onto the field, and I said, that's why you don't put a freshman in a game. I was also angry because I got doubled the whole game, so it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was pissed, but we won by a lot.
Well, that's the only thing that matters. That's funny.
Yeah, and it was like the first time we had played those Bergen County teams, right?
I never realized that you were.
We ran through Cresskill in the first round, and then we had to play Glen Rock in the second round. And it was like we never, they were always in the other section. So it was always Glen Rock, Butler, whose offense, who's run and shoot is better. They had Grant Adams, who was like, went to BC, and we never had anybody go D1. So it was like that type of thing. So like we were sending a little bit of a message. I know I was, at least.
It was. That's when Group 1 was still.
Oh, good. Yeah, dude. I mean, Mountain Lakes, Paul Chiara.
Paul Chiara.
Bro. Dude, we went to, so when we played in the North-South game together, it was awesome. Like, I walked into his dorm room after a practice one day, and my man was doing a handstand with his feet against the wall doing push-ups.
Really?
And I walked in, and there was dudes from like, dude from Plainfield, dude from Montclair, and they're sitting there going, this white boy been doing this shit for like 20 minutes now, dog. And what is this? Like, they were in awe. They're like, what is, I'm like, bro, I don't even know.
He was a great athlete.
Look, Syracuse, bro, lacrosse too.
Yeah, I think he went lacrosse.
Animal. Then to come find out that his dad was like a chiropractor. And I'm like, oh, dude, you've been getting cracked up the right way since you were 2. Mountain Lakes, though, they were always a pain in the ass. I never beat them.
Oh, really? They ran that wing T.
Wing T to a T.
So did Booten ran the wing T, too.
That's
different
beat
style.
Me. Couldn't stop Buck Sweep for 2 years in a row.
Booten's Buck T, wing T was really that they like to run that back, the fullback.
Yeah, Biermeister was an animal.
Lenape loved to do that too. Lenape Valley loved to have the great fullback.
Traditional. They look even Montville, right, used to do it a lot too. They always had a good downhill fullback, and then they always had like that group that I played against. When we talked about it with Coach Gallagher, dude, like he had every position you needed to be a dude in the wing T. He had it, right? He had a fullback. He had a quarterback that was athletic enough to do whatever. He had a skill guy that could handle it and do jet sweeps and catch the ball. He had a multitude of like, tailbacks and stuff like that could, do different things. And there would always be a different guy. He had like a 5 group of those skill guys that from the time they were sophomores to seniors were just the dudes. And they just ran their offense. And it was tough, dude. It was tough. Because we played a lot of more wing T teams than like, anything else. I never saw spread. Yeah. Maybe a little bit when I saw Newark West Side. They tried to line up athletes, but like
Wing T's huge in
Morris County.
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, you think about West Morris and all the traditionals.
Yeah, no doubt. Cool, man. All right, well, that was great. That was fun. Good talk to Kyle.
Yeah, I actually just talked to like Coach Lang just hit me back, so he's gonna get on.
Oh, all right. Coach Lang. Really good. He's the man. That'll be good. What, next week, maybe?
Yeah, I'll try and get something for next week. You're good every day, or what do you want to do? Tuesday?
Next week. I think so. Usually Wednesday and beyond is usually like.
Okay, so I'll look for Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Okay, cool. All right, man.
All right, man. Sounds good.